Hello, Pretties. My name is Vivi, and I'm so excited that you're here because we're going to talk about Legacies, Season 2. This is a spin off from the originals, which is a spin off from the Vampire Diaries. So, yes, this is meant for teenagers. I am not a teenager, but I still love this shit. So, here we are talking about it. So, I actually filmed this video once before, and it was a complete mess. I was rambling everywhere, I wasn't making sense, and yeah, because I was trying to talk about like the plot line and why I was excited about this and whatnot, and then I was like, this is a mess. It doesn't make sense. So here we are. So I did not watch this show as it was coming out. I kind of just bench watched everything last week when it came out on Netflix. So yeah, that's how I watched them. The originals of the Vampire Diaries are also on Netflix. Although they do mention a lot of things from the original shows, you don't necessarily have to watch the original shows to still enjoy it, because they just kind of mention little things here and there. There's certainly some bigger plot holes that they are very integrated into the story, but they kind of explain them to you. So if you haven't watched the other two, do not feel bad. You should still be able to enjoy this one because it's kind of very much separate, and there's only one character that's on this one that's from the old one, and that's Alaric. And there's like little cameos here and there, and then like name drop here and there, but it's nothing major. So just saying. Oh, glasses. All right. That being said, I just putting that out there. I'm actually really enjoying this show called The Baker and the Beauty. It's just came out. There's only been 2 episodes out. The third one's gonna come out on Monday, and I'm planning to watch this show live as it's coming out. And since I'm putting up this video on Sunday, I figured if you want to check it out on Monday, check it out because I'm really loving it. It's like romance and comedy, and if you're Hispanic like myself, you kind of see yourself a little bit in the family culture because there's just not enough space. But yeah, just putting that out there. But back to Legacies. So I don't want to do what I did when I did the take 1 of this video, which was talk about the plot, because that got out of hand so quickly. So much happened. So instead, what I'm going to do is I have IMDb pulled up, and I have all the major characters in here. And so that's what I want to do. I want to talk about all the major characters, like story arc, and then kind of go from there. So I want to talk about Hope. I want to talk about Landon, Josie, Lizzie, MJ. We're going to talk about Rafael, Alaric, Caleb, and I think I'm just going to stop right there. Those are like the main characters. Oh, we're just going to stop right there. Okay, so Caleb. Let's start with Caleb. Caleb is, it's interesting. He's kind of coming along, and he's becoming less of a villain. Like, he wasn't a villain the last season, but he was definitely like an anti-hero, and he's become more of a hero. Caleb is becoming more friendly, and he's starting to really care for MJ as a friend, and we saw a little more about him and his family because MJ went over to Caleb's for the summer break, and we got to meet his family and his cousins and everyone, and it was pretty cool to kind of see how he's still involved with his human family. His human family knows that he's a vampire, but they still love him, care for him just the same, and nothing really changed. And I thought it was really cool to see all of that. And his sister was surprisingly involved a lot. Like, his sister and MJ had kind of like a little crush thing going on. It was really strange, but I liked it. I really did. I think he definitely became more of a favorite character for me than he was before. I didn't really care for him season 1. He was kind of just like there. It was kind of like a lovable asshole kind of thing. But in this season, he really came around for me. All right, moving on to Alaric. Alaric went through a lot. So at the beginning of the season, he had just been kicked out from being headmaster of the school, and he had transitioned into becoming the principal at the public school. And then he found Hope out of nowhere because Hope was training this monster. Anyway, Hope was searching for was killing this monster, and they kind of found each other, and they didn't really understand. Alaric didn't really know who Hope was, but they still grew that bond. And Alaric was becoming really strange from his daughters Josie and Lizzie, and so he was trying to reconnect with them. And he was having a lot of troubles with the headmaster from the other school because he was getting Josie to do black magic, so he was really concerned about her. So he was kind of all over the place. They ended up just, finding out that the headmaster is not who they thought it was, and not giving him out, kicking him out. He got his position back, and he kind of became the same Alaric with Gnome. There wasn't a lot of character growth with Alaric, to be honest. So there's not much to say. Like, even though he went through a lot with the relation with his daughters, I don't feel like there was a lot of development. And that's kind of what I want to see, because I feel like he's stuck. It's like he's a grown adult that keeps getting intermingled with all this kid stuff. So I kind of wish he acted more like an adult because that's what he's supposed to be. But okay, whatever. We're gonna move on. Rafael was very absent in this season. At the beginning of the season, he was kind of absent because he was a werewolf. And he couldn't transform back into a human because Hope had done some kind of spell on him. I completely forgot what it was. And she was the only one that could take it off, which means that he was going to stay stuck as a wolf until Hope came back, which she did eventually, and he changed him back, but he was never quite the same. It kind of really affected his psyche just because he was a wolf for like months, and the more times you go as a wolf without turning back, the longer you go, you kind of forget your human side. So he was struggling a lot. Then there was this thing where Landon thought all these monsters were coming after him, so him and Rafael decided to run away together. And when they were running away, they ended up finding Rafael's real father. And I think that was really cool because we found out that his mom was a werewolf. His dad, and she was in the military, his dad is human, and he knew about werewolves, and he was able to know that he actually never wanted to get rid of Rafael. His mom had run off before the baby, before he was born, and so he obviously didn't know his name. He didn't know where he was. He couldn't find her, so she didn't know what to do, and he just kind of lost touch. But he never wanted him gone. So he was able to rekindle with his father, and so he kind of disappeared again for a couple episodes. We didn't know what it was. Everybody thought that he was with his father, but in actuality, he ended up getting killed and then became a puppet. And then they saved him, and that was that. Like I said, he was really only there for a couple of episodes. I know it sounds like a lot, but everything that I just told you happened in the span of like 2 episodes or less. So he wasn't really there a lot, which was really strange because he was such a big part of the first season, and he was just kind of in the in the back of the storyline. But I am happy for him, actually, because he was able to reconnect with his father and realize that he was loved, he wasn't abandoned, and I think that that made him feel good. He was definitely a little bit scared that he became a killer again, but yeah, I actually like the development that they did with this character, and I would like to see some more of Rafael in the next season because he was really good. MJ had a strange position. Like, I feel like a lot of the season for MJ was romantic involvement, and at first he went to Caleb's over the summer to try to get over Lizzie, and he did for the most part. He kind of got over her by starting a crush on Caleb's sister, but then they came back, and he started trying to get back with Lizzie again, and then realized that it wasn't gonna work out. They were just gonna be just friends. And then Caleb's sister comes back into the picture, and he's kind of like flirting with her. And then there's this other girl. What's her name? She's hold on, I'm gonna try to find this girl. Elisa. There you go. She was kind of this crazy witch, and then she had a crush on MJ, and he was kind of entertaining the idea. And then he came back to Lizzie, and this time he's like, you know what? No, I'm only going to be your friend. I'm going to be here for you. And then Lizzie all of a sudden started seeing him differently, and they ended the season making out. I don't know what that means for the future of them, but yeah. I kind of wish there was more to MJ than just his relationship status in the season, but I'm not mad where things went. Just the back and forth kind of gave me a headache. But he ended up with Lizzie, which is where I wanted him to be the whole time, so I'm okay with it. So yeah. MJ. It was all about love for him. Then you have Lizzie, who's trying her best to move on from all the crazy psychological stuff that she's been going through. She's really trying to get her head on straight. She was having her year of yes and trying all these new things. And while she was doing all of this, there was this vampire that apparently had been in the basement. He was decimated, I think that's the word, I can't remember now, and he got a little bit of blood, and so he was able to get inside the mind of Lizzie. And Jenny's the name of the actress, and when you read this it kind of tells you both, and I looked and I was wrong. So yeah, anyway, so there was a couple of episodes there that Lizzie thought she was dating this vampire, but this vampire was actually just in her mind, so nobody else was seeing them. So she thought she was going crazy, and she ended up having like a meltdown. So there was that, but then ended up happening that the vampire was real. They brought him to life. Everybody was able to see him, and he was kind of like the bad boy in the story. I don't know. That whole thing was really confusing. With her and her romance, and then she ended up with MJ at the end because she realized that the other vampire was not really in it for the right reasons, whereas MJ was there for her all along, regardless of whatever her state of mind was, and so she ended up going with him. Aside from that, Lizzie kind of also realized that she can win the genocide or whatever. Like if her and Josie were to go head to head, that she could potentially win. There definitely was this moment where Josie had gone kind of like evil fairy or whatever on them, and they had to go head to head, and Lizzie has more fight in her than she gives herself credit for, and I thought it was really cool, and I enjoy that, and I kind of want to see more of that. She was actually also very friendly to Hope, and I love to see how their relationship grew, and I actually do think that Josie, Lizzie, and Hope can be like a dynamic trio that they have so much rivalries to get over, but as they're maturing and they're becoming better friends, I definitely think they're going to keep growing, and I'm really enjoying that. Like, we get to see the better side of Lizzie, and I really like it. All right, then you have Josie. So Josie to me was really strange. Okay, her ride in this season was real up and down. She started the season pretty good, her and Landon started getting closer while they had forgotten about Hope. So they have gotten closer to each other, and they had kind of became a real item to the point where they had considered having sex with each other. Then they remembered Hope. That didn't happen. Them having sex didn't happen. Then she got tricked into doing black magic, right? So then the black magic thing exploded, and she became kind of evil for a second. Then she had to reconnect with her good side and kind of put her dark side down and kind of really stick to the man kind of thing. And I really liked that about her. She's definitely insecure. Her and Hope were able to kind of mend their relationship a little bit, and they were able to become friends again. But definitely they were... Even though they had mended the relationship, there was still a little like animosity among them. It was weird. She went through a lot, and she did a lot of things that were out of character for her, but I know that was the point they were trying to do, because she wasn't supposed to be her normal self. She was supposed to be like this like dark evil thing or whatever. I don't know how I feel about her right now. I was very confused with her character arc this season. I hope they do better for her next season, because this was not her year. That's all I gotta say. It was not her year. So I kind of hope they do better. Okay, Landon. Landon was also a weird one. So again, he, like everybody else, forgot about Hope and kind of started this relationship with Josie. And they kind of were having it good. Then they remembered Hope. And then he was really confused because, like, I don't know who I want to be with. But one thing for sure, he was very mad at Hope for lying about her returning. But her thing's like, how could I convince you that I'm back, Like, so he was mad at her and refused to tell her that, he was wanting to be with her. Yeah, but he was struggling a lot because while Hope was gone, he remembered something was missing. So he kept trying to kill himself. Remember, he's a phoenix. So he kept coming back to life. He kept trying to kill himself to try to because he would see glimpses of her but couldn't really know what it was, but he was seeing her. So that was interesting. That was very interesting. Anyway, they ended up getting back together, obviously, and they were then having this thing where he was trying to become like a hero, just like Hope, because Hope's such a badass. Like, she knows how to fight, she knows magic, she has super strength and super speed, because she's a werewolf and all these things. So she's just like a straight up badass. And Landon was kind of like the damsel in distress. So yeah, it was Landon's way of trying to come up and be like, I'm not a damsel in distress, I can take care of myself. If you want to be the hero, you can, and you don't have to worry about me. Something else we found out, Landon can fly. Okay, he gets these like huge like fire wings or whatever they call it, and it was super cool. Not gonna lie, it was super cool. But yeah, there was definitely towards the second half of the season where there was a couple episodes that he wasn't in it, and him being one of the main characters, I thought it was kind of weird that he wasn't in them, but whatever. That aside, yeah, Landon. Interesting ride for him, but I kind of like where he's coming about. He's trying to become his own man, his own person, separate and strong individual on his own accord. I really like it. Although at the end of the season, we're a little concerned because he hasn't woken up. He was shot with an arrow or something, so he's supposed to come back to life, and he hasn't, so that's kind of where we're left off. I hope he does, because it's just taking too long. Usually by now he would have already woken up, but he hasn't. So alright, we don't know the fate of Landon yet. That's kind of like cliffhanger that left us. Moving along to Hope. Hope, again, she got out of the little abyss hole, whatever. Everyone had forgotten about her. And then she found her boyfriend, who she had been dying to get back to, kissing with Josie, who's supposed to be her best friend. So she's devastated. But at the same time, she wants him to be happy. And so she decides to leave, let him be happy, She doesn't want to stop him. And then all the monsters are coming out, so she's staying in town only because of the monsters. She's trying to close out the hole. She's like, as soon as I can close it, then I'm leaving. And if Landon doesn't remember that, he doesn't remember me. She runs into the high school looking for these monsters. She ends up meeting Alaric. They kind of have this like bond. She ends up telling Alaric everything that's going on with her, and even though he believes her, he also like is confused like why he can't remember her, but he understands the story. I don't know. So they have this like team up. They team up kind of by themselves. Alaric, like I said, it's distance from his daughters at that time, so they're having this thing. Then Lizzie remembers Hope, and they're able to really find a friendship between them, and I really enjoy that. Then Josie has all this dark magic in her, so Hope tries to go inside Josie's mind to try and bring her back. And yeah, that's where we left off, because she never came back. Josie did, but then Hope's kind of wouldn't wake up. We don't know what happened to her, so that's kind of the cliffhanger. Landon of the season is Landon has not resurrected, and Hope's subconscious hasn't come back to her, and so they're both just kind of sleeping beauties essentially. They don't know what happened with them. So there's that. Landon and Hope's relationship, I think it was so cute, it was so adorable. They were able to finally get that thing moving and rolling, and I really enjoyed it. I know this is terrible to say, but I cannot wait for Hope to die so that she can become a Tribrit, because currently her vampirism hasn't been activated. I can't wait for her to die so that she can activate it and see how that rolls. Also, I know that at the beginning of the first season they said that Landon ruins Hope's life. We've not yet seen that, but I want to see that. And then something else that I want to watch, see from Hope, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I really want to see Hope become hella evil. Like, I don't know why I want her to go a little crazy like Klaus did. I know that sounds insane and really crazy because everybody loves her, but she's a little bit of too much of a goody two shoes, and I want to see more of a little bit of a bad side. I want to see her go crazy. Also, something that really upsets me is that everybody always calls Hope short on the show, and then I went and googled how tall the actress is, and she's 5'3", and I'm really upset because I'm 5'2", and that's so rude. But that's a different story. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. I know there was a lot, but believe me, this was better than the first try. The first try was a complete mess. It didn't make no sense. I didn't even know where to start. So much happened. When you break it down per character, you're gonna see it a little bit better. So anyway, I can't wait for season 3 because I need to know what happens to Hope and Landon. Again, I can't. This Sleeping Beauty syndrome, it's not working for me. I need to know what happens. I hope you do too. If you like this season, leave that down below. What would you like to see from these characters? What do you think about the cliffhangers? Let me know. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.